Good evening and welcome. You're watching Bizz Talk on your channel of choice. And my name is Sinazo January. Now, this is the show where I bring you nothing but the best of the business sector in and around the Eastern Cape. And as usual, this episode is absolutely no different. Of Bizz Talk, we had the opportunity to attend a small business breakfast meeting that was presented by Michelle Brown. So let's go and have a look.
Sponsored or major sponsored by two of the biggest brands. You are sitting here at an event at BMW Nelson Mandela Bay and MTN and Nedbank. So how can you actually not be aware of branding? These are huge brands in this country, and they are huge brands in Nelson Mandela Bay. So thank you to Lwandiso for putting this all together. I think you need to give him a round of applause. But having said that these are big brands, you all do know, you've been listening to people throughout the morning, you do know that by now, that building a brand is a process. Does not happen within 24 hours. It does not happen within 1 month, and it certainly does not happen within a year. I can tell you that now. And there are people sitting here that are my colleagues, Mimi Rupp sitting here in the front, Matthew Lata, who can actually attest to what I'm saying, that building your brand takes a hell of a long time. And there are certain steps along the way that you have to be cognizant of. So when I Googled yesterday when I was preparing this talk, Lwandiso, I Googled some of the big brands and around the world, of course globally, and one of the big ones for me is Nike. And Nike, you know, was started in 1971. So it's 52 years of building that brand every single day. If you think that Nike just started and became this amazing, strong, powerful brand, then you are absolutely wrong. It's taken 52 years. Here's another bit of an interesting piece of information about Nike. They partnered or collaborated with Cristiano Ronaldo. You all know who he is, right? Okay, if you don't, where have you been? So they collaborated with Ronaldo let me just look here, 2003. So that's been a 20-year brand collaboration. And in 2016, they signed him up to what they call a Nike lifetime deal, third only to signing up Michael Jordan and LeBron James. So those two other people, as well as Ronaldo, are brands, powerful brands within themselves. But can you see the magic that happens when you collaborate one brand with the other? And one is a corporate brand and the other is an individual. That is very powerful. So the lesson here is that if you, as an individual, are going to partner or collaborate or align with a corporate brand, be very careful and very sure of what brand you align with, because you are then, let's say, tarred with the same brush as the brand. So if you are not sure, do your homework, ladies and gentlemen. And if a brand comes to you and says, would you be my brand or our brand ambassador? It's very nice. It makes you feel very special. But do your values talk to the values of that brand? Because if they don't, I'm saying to you, tread very carefully. And yes, I know there's this phenomenon called an influencer, and all the influencers are much younger than me. And I keep asking myself when I see some of them and when I see CVs that say, I am an influencer, I'm like, Oh, what, honey? You are like 23. What are you influencing? From what years of experience? Just asking. Little bit cheeky. Okay. So now you know why my children live as far away from me as they can. All right. Here's another one. Jay-Z. Very, very strong brand. Not Jacob Zuma, by the way. Jay-Z, Beyonce's Jay-Z, started Rock Nation in 2008. Okay, there's another example of an individual starting a brand, and that brand, Rock Nation, very recently went into taking on sports ambassadors as brand ambassadors. Our very own Sia Kolisi, our very own Cheslin Colby, our very own Beast Mtawarira, and Sabun Nkosi, and then a cricketer recently called Lungi Ngidi. If you don't know who those people are, I'm going to punch you. Right? Yeah, South Africa know who they are. Okay. So people say, why did Sia Kolisi, for example, partner with an American brand, Rock Nation? Why not? Why not? Sia Kolisi is a global brand now. Why can he not partner with an international brand? I'm saying to you, why not? And yes, he gets paid an incredible amount of money, but they take his time from him. And so they need to pay for that time, in my book, okay? Let me say to you that you need, if you have a brand, and if you are a brand needs a few kind of criteria. And the first one is that you need to be authentic. So don't give me this stuff about, you know, when I'm on this stage, then I am that. But when I am at home, then I am that. I'm sorry, that doesn't do it for me. If you are a brand, you are a brand, and you are authentic, and you are real. And as you see that person, look, a very dear friend of mine is Maps Mapanyani. As you see Maps on his Instagram with 20 million trillion followers, that is how I see him when I have a cup of coffee with him, when I meet up with him in Johannesburg, Cape Town, or if he comes here for something that we book him for. That is the same Maps. And so for me, he's authentic. So don't give me that stuff that when I am representing MTN as their brand ambassador, then I behave a certain way. But when you see me with my kids and with my friends, I'm a different person. Why? I don't understand that. So if you are a brand or want to become a brand, and again, it's a process, you need to be authentic. The next thing a brand needs to be is to be clear in what you stand for, to have clarity, in other words. Be very clear what you stand for. And those of you in the room who know me well, like Mimi and like Rene Clayboy, will know, and Carmen Roman, hello. Those of you who know me well know that one of the things I stand for adamantly and vehemently and passionately is the rights of women. I know it's 2023. We're still expected to pour the tea at the board meeting. Do I do that? Let me think.
No.
Okay, so that is who I am, and I'm not going to change because I'm sitting in a boardroom with the CEO of, I don't know, Facebook, Meta, whatever it's called. Okay, that's who I am. So be very clear, have a clear understanding, a clear vision of who and what your brand is.
Right now, it's time to take a quick ad break, but we'll be back right after this. Now, welcome back from the ad break. If you are joining us right now, we attended a masterclass that was hosted by Michelle Brown. So let's go and have a look.
Brand is. Another one is creativity. So for me, if you tell me you're a brand, and I spoke to someone yesterday about this, and she said, yes, my company is a brand in a very competitive industry. And I said to her, tell me something. How does your brand differ from all the other companies in your industry? What makes you stand out? What differentiates you? Because don't tell me that you are the best brand in the country, in your industry, because I'm going to ask you, why are you different? If you can't answer me as to what differentiates you, you do not have a clear brand. So what makes you stand out? All right? Got it? So if people say, Michelle, you have been in PR and events for, it's 35 years now. I know, I look so young. But yeah, 35 years. I must have started when I was 12. Okay, Lord Diesel, I'm sorry. But if people say, what differentiates you? One of the things, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, you're asking, and people ask me, I'm going to say, the fact that I'm still here 35 years later means I'm doing something right. And so longevity is part of what makes me different. And because I've been around for so long, I can offer my corporate clients quite an extensive network of contacts, which you cannot get if you've just started 23 weeks ago. Okay, so for me, that's what would make me stand out. And one of the other things that makes Brown's PR stand out is that I always believe that I need to behave in a professional manner, particularly as a woman in a world of businessmen. And so some of the ladies have heard this, but I was at a function one evening. Sorry, I've put my back out, it's really sore. Some of the ladies have heard this. So I was at a function one evening and a corporate client of mine came up to me, put his arm around me, standing over here, put his arm around me and said, I just want to chat to you about an issue from our meeting the other day. I'm like, what are you doing? So I took his hand off my shoulder, put it back next to him. You know what I'm saying? And I said, you don't have to touch me when you talk to me, okay? So I'm not being horrible. I said, I'm not trying to offend you. You do not have to touch me. I'm standing right here. I can hear you. You can hear me. So please, please, I'm asking you, let's keep this professional. Move away. Yeah. He did. Okay, I'm not a very nice person, but as you can see, like Mimi, right, we stand our ground. Because we've been around Mimi a long time in our industries, right? I've known Mimi for 100 years. So we've been around, we know what we stand for, we know we are very clear about our brands and our reputation, because after all, is your brand not your reputation? And I'm not going to tarnish that for anyone, no one, I don't care who you are, okay? I worked for Oprah Winfrey a few years ago in California. I flew over and I worked for her events manager, who's an ex-East London boy, Colin Cowie, now lives in America for the last 30 odd years and does a lot of Oprah's events. And he said to me, Michelle, I want you at the black tie dinner, at that VIP table, I want you to look after a very well-known gospel singer called B.B. Winans, because B.B. Winans and his band were performing for the function. I just want you to see that he has his food ready on the table. When his plate is done, you get the waiter to clear it. If he needs a top-up of his drink, I just need you to look after him. And I was very aware of being very professional. So I went to him and I said, B.B., my name is Michelle, I'm from South Africa. I'm going to be here to look after you. If you need anything during the course of the evening, anything to do with your meal or a drink or top-up, please let me know. But I didn't fawn all over him. I didn't go, because obviously I was very excited. But I always say everyone has to go to the bathroom. Whether you are Oprah, B.B. Winans, Michelle Brown, Mimi Rupp, Renee Claiborne, we can't get anyone to do it for us, right? So please, okay. So we've said you have to have a brand that's authentic, that has clarity, that has creativity, what sets you apart. You also have to have what we call brand loyalty. If MTN are asking you to be a brand ambassador, they do not want to see you on Facebook or Instagram at a golf day wearing a Vodacom cap, because that is -10, and they will remove their ambassadorship from you within a heartbeat. Am I right, Linnea? Okay. So brand loyalty for me is very, very important. And I know many years ago, when my kids were much, much younger and still at school, one of my corporate clients was KFC. And when they asked me, when I'd fetch them from school, can we go and get a McDonald's? I said, absolutely not. And they said, but Mom, why? I said, because one of my clients is KFC. And I'm not going to be seen at a McDonald's drive-thru, and someone might just see me, and I'm not doing it. So when you are on your own with your friends, go and get a McDonald's. When you are with me, the answer is no. All right. So brand loyalty, very important.
All right, now it's time to take another quick ad break, but we will be back right after this, so don't go nowhere. Break. Right now, it's time to head back to our masterclass that was hosted by Michelle Brown on how to build a strong business brand. So let's go have a look.
And then the last thing on brand is that you have to have a purpose. You have to know your why. Why are you starting your business? Why are you starting this brand? If you don't know, how can I know if you're coming to see me about a sponsorship or something like that? So you have to have a why. You have to have a purpose. If you say to me, when Brown's PR started on the 28th of February 1988, 35 years ago, what was your purpose? What was your why? I thought about it yesterday, and it was to offer value and professional conduct to corporate clients. Value and professional conduct. And it was also to connect people, because I love doing that. And if you have a network, why do you have it if not to connect people? So no, I'm not going to give you Maps Mapanyani's number afterwards. That's not what I mean. I will ask Maps if I can give his number. If he says no, I will say, Renee, can you give me your cell number and can I give it to Maps? But I don't give the number out. Sia Kolisi, I do have his number. I am on WhatsApp with him, because when he was at school and my daughter was at school, they were in the same grade and they were friends. And through my daughter many years ago, I got Sia's number. And that's how I get hold of him. That's how he contacts me. I am not giving Sia Kolisi's number to anyone, not even to my son. I'll send your number to Sia. Oh, Bob, look, really. Yes, really. Okay. So that was my purpose. It's still 35 years later, my purpose to offer and provide professional conduct, a network of connections, and value and benefit to my corporate clients. Michelle, why must we take you on as opposed to another PR person down the road? And that's what I tell them. The 3 areas of PR that I focus on is media liaison, traditional media and digital media or electronic media, events management. So when my friend Mark Lottering phones me and says, Michelle, I need to do a show in PE for all my fans. I love the boardwalk. We get him in 16 September. He's here. I know he'll have a sellout, close to 1,000 people. Tickets have already opened. So I will then organize everything for that show. I will get the ushers. I will be the liaison with the boardwalk security. I will get him his accommodation for that night, set him up with the sound and lighting guys, etc. But I will be there on that night of Saturday the 16th to make sure that everything's going smoothly. So media liaison, event management, and communication, right? And when I started out 35 years ago, we were dealing with people on fax and on telephone, landlines. And so 35 years later, we are dealing with people on WhatsApp, on Teams, on Zoom, on Instagram, on Facebook. The point of that, ladies and gentlemen, is that your brand has to evolve with the times. You can't stay stuck in 1988 because who even knows what a fax machine is? And who even has a landline? Not me, cancelled it long ago. So I use cell phone, as does everybody. And so there's another part to that, is that when I have a meeting that you have set up with me for, say, 9 o'clock in the morning, and 20 past 9, you're still not there, I'm done, I leave. And when you say to me, but Michelle, could you not have waited? I'm like, I'm sorry, I know that you are on your phones 24/7. Could you not have messaged me to say, taxi's broken down, transport's late, had a problem at home, office meeting ran late? Sorry, do you suddenly not have a cell phone? Please, don't irritate me. Okay, so communication skills have also evolved and changed, and you need to be aware of changing and evolving your brand. And so during lockdown, lots of us, not only me, had to learn Teams, we had to learn Zoom, we had to communicate via WhatsApp video call, which we weren't doing at all before 2020, right? And so I also had no events anymore because they shut us down, the events industry. No events, not one single event. And my daughter, who lives in Hong Kong, said to me, why don't you teach online? You've always lectured, why don't you teach? And I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. And so I had to do the TEFL course, which is Teaching English as a Foreign Language, and I passed that. And then I put myself out there and I signed up. Everybody was signing up, if you remember, with schools in China. The time difference is hectic, number one. They're 6-7 hours ahead of us. So the time difference is hectic. Also, I didn't want to teach 4-year-olds how to speak English. So my 2 colleagues and I, 2 of my friends and I, signed up with an English school in Moscow, in Russia. I'm still today, 2.5 years later, teaching a woman who is a compliance officer for a huge international company. I see her once a week on Zoom or Teams, and I still do English lessons with her via conversation. Because I said to the principal of the school in my interview, I'm really sorry, Michael, I'm not a qualified teacher. So if you're happy with me teaching adult conversational English, not children, I'll shoot myself, then I'm happy to do it. And he said, I don't know you, but are you always like this? I said, sadly, yes. Anyway, 2 years later, I'm still teaching her, and we are friends, and we really are good friends. And she shared a lot with me, and me with her. She's met my family on screen. I've met her daughter. And I also taught a former European ambassador. He had a slight stroke. He had to learn to speak English again. They approached me. I taught him online. And a lady who booked me from Malaysia, I taught her for 10 lessons. But this is the other thing I did. And I'm not telling you because I'm like fab. No, I'm telling you because I had to evolve my brand. Otherwise, I would have been dead in the water during lockdown. I signed up with, you can sign up with a remote global work site called Upwork.com. And Upwork.com, someone told me about it. You have to just register for free. You list all your skill sets, like almost like a CV. And then every morning you have to go online and see, they give you jobs that they think match your skill set. And then you have to pitch for those jobs. Interesting, ladies and gentlemen, that when in my CV I said I'm from South Africa, I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting jobs that I knew I could do. When I just changed it a little bit and said, I'm from Nelson Mandela Bay, because that name is an icon throughout the world. I said, I'm from Nelson Mandela Bay. Suddenly, I started getting invitations to interview for jobs. I did 4 jobs in America, across the States, 2 jobs in Israel, 1 job in India with a Bollywood film star, let me tell you, because I Facebook stalked her. She had like 4 million followers. And I couldn't understand how she looked so gorgeous so early in the morning on our WhatsApp video interview, and then I realized she's a Bollywood film star. And a job in the Ukraine as well. I still keep in touch with that poor woman in the Ukraine, in Kiev, in the Ukraine. But it just opened my world. And you know what it also did? Showed me that we're all the same. Because during lockdown, we all spoke the same language, ladies and gentlemen. We all knew about masks, curfew, sanitizer, vaccines, etc., etc., right? Can you remember those days? I'm trying to block them out.
And unfortunately, that is all that we had for you for tonight's episode of Bizz Talk. But please do join me, same place, same time, right here on Channel 260 with myself, of course, Sinazo January. But right now, it's good night.